Hello, welcome to the live stream. Tonight's showcase, we have some great topics. First, I would like to introduce my guest panelist. Or I guess you've been on all the shows, so I guess you're not a guest anymore. Launch Pro. What's going on, Launch
Hey,
Pro?
hello. What's up? What's up? What's up?
Not much. When we get started on these live shows, we like to get the link out, wait till we get some people in the building, things
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly share
Yeah.
this,
So yeah,
invite some
tonight we
people.
have two topics. We'll be discussing Kevin Samuels, his viewpoints. Is it true that he disliked black women or hated black women? Whatever your perspective is, or whatever word you want to use, we want to talk about whether or not Kevin Samuels did he actually value giving women advice, or was it just a ploy for him to get views, and maybe he actually didn't appreciate or have an appreciation for black women. So we're going to be talking about that. Our second topic, let me get that banner up. Our second topic is going to be a question. We have a question. Does a woman have to lose weight to please her husband? So some people they chimed in and they said that they didn't know who Kevin Samuels was. So I threw in this extra topic just to get everybody else involved. Does a woman have to lose weight to please her husband? That would be the second topic. So let's get some people in the building. Do you have anything you would like to start off and say on these topics? You there, lunch, bro?
Um, Not at the moment. I just wanna for now. I mean, well, what I'll say is I'm excited to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Samuels, first and foremost, may he rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
I want to remember him as um a content creator
Right.
who created thought provoking content. Um, Very polarizing. He was able to
Very
split the
polarizing.
internet in half, literally. Um,
Yes.
in the short amount of time that I have been exposed to Kevin Samuels, I started watching him during the 2020 pandemic when we were on lockdown.
Right.
And I found him very interesting. I was like, wow, this is a new cat in town. I didn't know he was doing podcasting or YouTube for a number of years. I think since 2018. But I wasn't exposed to, his channel until the lockdown. And I
Right.
realized he would have like different women calling into the show. And my God, he was roasting these women. And I found entertainment in it. Um, in my
Yes.
experience, he also had a few things that he said that resonated as true to me. And on those um, key points, he gained my loyal viewership for
Mm.
about a year, um, until things turned for the worse, and I started really looking into the deeper context to his show and um, overall how I felt just spiritually about it, I guess. Vibe
Right.
wise about it, and that's what shifted things for me. So I definitely want to start off by acknowledging his passing, and that not many people were able to do what he did in the amount of time that he did in this particular space. So kudos to him for that.
Yes. Definitely. He definitely was a polarizing figure. Even though I didn't listen to too many of his uh, you know, live shows, I've saw in the clip. I've seen many clips, and he definitely was very strong in his stance, and he brought something different to the table. So I'm curious to know if we could get some people in here to see if how they feel about the question that we have on the table. Um, did Kevin Samuels hate black women? Right? So we still sending some links out. Got some people supposed to be jumping on. So since you talked about Kevin Samuels, I'm gonna talk about the other topic. Let me change the banner right quick. So the second topic: should a woman lose weight to please her husband? The reason why I brought this topic up is because in the world of social media, it seems that well, I should say the YouTube world. We lost Launch Pro. Hopefully, it should come back shortly. But in the world of social media, it seems that people are obsessed with looks on a on a on a scale of judging looks by 1 to 10, and people think that they'll make a statement that men will want a woman if she's fit, right? They'll make statements like that. And the reason why I want to touch on this topic is because I think that I would love to hear the woman and the male perspective on it to see if this is true, right? And we know that a majority of Americans, I believe it's 60 to 70% of Americans are overweight or obese. So most people are overweight. Now, being overweight is not healthy. And I do think that people who are overweight definitely should lose weight, right? So let me see if Launch Pro, what happened to Launch Pro? Send her a message and see if we can get her back on. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about with should a woman lose weight to please her husband. I have some thoughts on that, but I'm gonna give people a chance to get in the building. So yeah, Launch Pro, she says she'll be back. So let's just talk. So let's get it. So I'm gonna read off some of the questions I wrote down for Kevin Samuels. You know what? I forget the questions. I'll give some of my thoughts on Kevin Samuels. So, like I said, I didn't watch enough Kevin Samuels to consider myself to be an expert. However, the clips and the highlights I did see, I had some things that I felt he was on point with, and I have some things I felt like, I'll just put it like this: I disagree. Okay, I think I got Launch Pro back. Hey, Launch Pro, you back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting ready to talk about my points about Kevin Samuels. I kind of wanted to save my perspective for last because I don't want to sort of sway the conversation.
No, I think people definitely have like strong opinions regarding this man. That's
yes,
already preset. So
I know. And I think I left my phone in the room.
Okay, you want me to bring it up?
Yeah, if you can. You see it?
This is what wives are for.
So I can
I
send a text message.
I don't know where your phone is.
I have no clue where my phone is. It's cool. It's cool. It's not a big deal. So I have a question for you. Do you believe that Kevin Samuels valued helping Black women, or did he use Black women to just get fame because denigrating them? Or I don't want to use the word denigrating. I want to say because maybe chastising them or using harsh language while giving suggestions to these women seemed to get him a lot of viral clicks and views. Where do you think his stance was? Did he actually value helping a Black woman doing better, or did he want Black women to just be a stepping stool for him to get views? Let's start there.
All right, so I'm just gonna share my honest opinion. Kevin Samuels admitted on an interview with Unwind with Tasha K that once he started creating more salacious content, that's when his clicks increased. That's when his viewership increased, right?
Right. Right.
He started off with an image consulting business, and he pretty much positioned himself as an image consultant, and he would give men advice. Apparently, he would roast men too, particularly from my view, not to the extent that he did with women.
Okay.
However, he admitted in that interview that, once he started roasting women, and being more provocative with his stance and his speech and his vernacular and his whole style of like communication,
Right.
that's when he really started going viral. So Kevin Samuels popped during the lockdown, which
Yes.
happened within a space of like 2 to 3 years. That's when he really started like accruing
That's when he
millions
took
upon
off.
millions of like views. I think he has like over 1 million subscribers at this point. It wasn't always like that, At first he had like 145,000 subscribers. I remember when I saw the number. I remember when I saw his subscribers was 300,000, towards the beginning when
So it
I
just
started
took
watching
off.
him. Yeah. So with that and what came out of his own mouth, I would say that it was possibly a mixture of the two. I mean, he was giving like advice to men, like what
Okay.
to look for in a woman, and like, before you even approach women, this is what you need to do for yourself. He had a set, he had created a set of principles to which guided men on, how to navigate the dating sphere. So essentially, if you're not emotionally stable, you're not able to, conduct a family, a relationship. If you do not have your finances together, you equally cannot, be in a relationship. You shouldn't be dating. So he had like a set of like values that he wanted to impart on men with his own
Right.
voice in the relationship advice sector, right?
Right.
And his target audience started off as men, and then women would comment on these posts. And then that's when he decided to, from his mouth, open up the panel and the dialogue to include women and what they need to do in order to better position themselves for relationships and
Right.
inevitably marriage.
So,
So
right.
it
Go
was
ahead.
it
Go
was
ahead. I
possibly
won't
like
stop
a
you.
mixture of the two. It was like a mixture of the two. Like he had an intention to use his voice to affect change, or to, to affect change, or to, you know, um, incite a different view in
Okay.
relationships. And he delivered it in, a contrasting way that just hasn't been seen from other, so-called relationship advisors, right? Or content creators. But then equally,
Right.
he sought to capitalize on it. And he deliberately began to create content that would provoke the masses, because that's what sways audiences, especially the Black community.
So it was like a 50-50.
I don't, I cannot really say that it was 50-50. I don't know what that metric was. I just know that he had both. He had a mixture of both in his overall
So, so you said that he
goal.
was an image consultant. Was it to get more clients as a way?
Uh,
So I'm assuming
mhm.
that that's probably was the whole purpose of his online media was to get you to, book him one on one. Do
Right.
you think that maybe in his attempt to gain more clients when he saw the viral videos, him making commentary about black women in a certain way, it took off. Do you think that became the focus? Because I'm just because the question of this tonight is, does Kevin Samuels like black women or hate black women, right? And I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
get a gauge from the people that listen to him whether or not it's true. So what I'm getting from you is that you said it's kind of like a mixture of like care or just denigration,
Yes.
or you just
Um,
not, or you're not
well,
sure.
as far as like denigration is concerned, I think that that's like a subjective ideal, you know, because not everybody agrees that he denigrated black women, you know. I am of the school of thought that he did, but there are other people that do not agree with that. So I can't really say, you know, was his goal to denigrate black women. I just know that the image consultant, I don't know how successful the image consulting business was for him. He started off as an image consultant. He wanted to promote his services, and as any he comes from corporate sales. Let's not
Right.
forget this background, this career background um of Kevin Samuels. So he started
Right.
off in corporate and sales. And so he had some type of like intel and understanding of how to market himself. And so he wanted to create content around his services, which is by far like very crafty on his part, right?
Yeah.
But what so and he
That's all
was creating
commendable.
content. Yeah, like he was creating content around, his products and services, like basically telling men how to, put themselves together, pull your pants up, get a button up, invest in quality socks, invest in, every man should have, uh, a good wallet in their pocket. He was just really uh, trying to affect change among people, this class of men who might, wear their jeans down, sagging over their butt. How are you going to attract? Are you a high value man? Well, these are the qualities of a high value man, and this is how you can mirror the qualities of a high value man,
Right.
not only just physically, but also mentally, right? And it's like yourself mentally, and then, you know, I remember he had a video or was it a video or some? Anyway, he said that if you go to Planet Fitness, kill yourself. Um,
Mm.
you need a membership at LA Fitness, because
Yes.
with LA Fitness,
I think I heard that. I got some comments like, see, stuff like that are the clips they would take and make a minute and you would share it, and those things go viral. So you hear those bold statements or statements that are said in a certain way because he had a way of saying things that made it even more interesting, right? So yeah.
yeah, so like, the LA Fitness gym, had more tools, more resources, and it can, elevate your workout instead of like a Planet Fitness where there's barely any equipment. So you're not really going to challenge yourself. Get a
Right.
membership at LA Fitness. So he was always like about like elevating. At least that's how he came across to the men. You
Yes.
know, now for women, like it was a different scenario. Some women,
I just
resonated
realized I
with
have my phone on me. I'm like, what's
some
that
women
vibrating?
resonated with his messaging and others didn't, you know?
Copy. So all right. So the reason why I'm asking it, does he hate black women specifically, is because they found him with an Asian woman, and you know, while he had the heart attack, he was doing, you know, they were doing whatever they were doing. His, I believe they said his ex-wife was black, or he might have been with some black women in the past. And I don't know. This is why I'm asking the question. Was he maybe burnt in the past? And because sometimes men would say, well, I don't deal with black women because they have attitudes or whatever. You know, they might have had some issues with a couple of ladies they dealt with, but then they want to take it out on the whole entire so-called race of black women, right? And say, oh, black women are this, and then they'll go date outside the race. So I'm trying to see if that maybe if he had that sort of disposition, you know, they found him with an Asian woman. We know he was in relationships with black women in the past, and it didn't work for whatever reason. Could that be a reason for any sort of hatred, if that exists? Hello, Launchboy, you there? Oh, she just jumped off. Yeah, I'm trying to get to the bottom of, you know, this Kevin Samuels, you know, hatred or pending hatred, or the reasoning for his messaging, and you know, the messages he put out. So I guess until Launch Pro gets back, I'll start touching on one of the things I disagree with. Or I agree. I've touched on it. Let's start with the pros. So one of the points I've heard, like from clips or just like different like people talking about what he said, was women's expectations, women having unrealistic expectations, and he sort of challenged women to their own views and outlandish views. Like someone would say, well, I need a man who's a millionaire, or I need a man who makes a certain amount of money, and most men don't make that much money, right? So I honestly, that was something I can agree with him, trying to get women to understand uh with, you know, what they can actually have or what's actually out there, especially if you don't have that network of those types of high value men. So I do appreciate him trying to shed light to the ladies, like, hey, this is where your network is, right? And you should focus on men who are maybe blue collar workers, or who made, you know, they may work in not a regular 9 to 5 in a corporate office, but they don't have the most money. So I can agree with him trying to get women to open, you know, broaden their horizon, so to speak, and not just be so rigid in what they want from a man. Like I say, a woman should always go after the right guy that's for her. The right guy at the the right guy at the right time. Avoid the wrong guy at all costs, and also try to deal with a guy when the timing is right, because that can also play into when, you know, to the relationship not working, to the dating not going right, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think women need to have uh, a more broad scope or perspective of men. Because if you're just trying to attract the man in that top 10%, and you don't have a network or access to those types of men, then you will possibly most likely be forever be single. And I've seen many clips where he would you know, ask a woman about, you know, different things, whether how much money she makes, has she ever even had a man that makes that type of money, right? So I understand that perspective, and I honestly don't know enough to say whether or not it's true, whether he actually, you know, disliked black women, was just using black women as a stepping stool to get views and fame. I don't know. I don't know enough to make that commentary. I just wanted to give people the opportunity to speak on the podcast. If you are in the chat, or you just listening in, definitely feel free to jump on the panel. The link is in the comments. I can also post the link in the description as well. I'll do that in a second, but you can find the link. I had the link posted on the YouTube. Is posted in the YouTube, and also believe it's posted on the Facebook as well, right? So I would love to have a conversation. Let's see if we get some more people in the building. But until I get some more people in the building, I get Launch Pro back. I also want to touch on. So I'll do it. I do one for one. Another point that well, not another point, but the first point I say that I disagree with is his rating scale of beauty. Now, I honestly find the rating scale of beauty to be sort of outdated. I remember like back in the day when I was in high school, there was a social media platform. I can't remember the name of it. This was like the early 2000s. This is like around Black Planet days. To anyone in the chat that's old enough to remember the Black Planet days, there was another platform where you would go on there, people would have their profiles. I think it was just pictures and maybe a brief description of themselves. And you literally would rate each person you come into contact with on a scale of 1 to 10, right? Oh, my mic fell apart. That's all right. Let's take this down. But you would rate each, males and females on a scale of 1 to 10. So, men will go on there and rate females on a scale of 1 to 10, and women will go on there and rate men 1 to 10. And I think you can also like message each other on there too. So it was like one of them early social media kind of deals that just went away. But it was definitely during the Black Planet days. Black Planet was another platform where you could go and you could meet people online. But the reason why I'm bringing those things up is because back in those days, I think we got Launch Pro Black. Let's get Launch Pro back on the stream. Hey, Launch Pro. You there? I guess Launch Pro will start talking when she's ready. Wait, I got 2 Launch Pros. Let me remove this one. You there? Launch Pro? Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay, you got 2. Launch Pro, you there? Launch Pro's having some technical difficulties. Hello? Launch Pro? Okay, she'll come back. I'll leave it there just in case she does get some audio. So the reason why I was bringing up those old social media platforms is because back in those days was like the last time I could remember people using a rating scale of 1 to 10, right? I honestly, the only time you hear, especially men, use a 1 to 10 scale is if maybe somebody brings it up and say, oh, on a scale of 1 to 10, like just in casual conversation, it might come up randomly, right? Or if they say she's a 10. You don't really hear guys saying she's an 8, she's a 6. You don't really hear guys saying that. You hear them saying she's a 10. She's a 10. 10, 10, 10. That's all they care about is 10s. But here's where I disagree with him. Like he would get women on the platform from the clips I see. Oh, yeah, Launch Pro's having some glitching with her phone.
Back.
You back?
Yes, I am back. My apologies.
All right, that's great. I'm breaking down my first point.
Okay.
That I disagree. I already did my first point that I agree with Kevin Samuel's ideology, which was women's expectations being unrealistic. The second point that the second point, which is a point that I disagree with, which is the first point I disagree with, was him rating women on a scale of 1 to 10. So I was just saying how the only time today you hear men use that scale is when she's a 10. They'll say 10, right? You rarely hear guys saying 8 and 6s. And the only other time it kind of comes up is if a guy randomly might ask, what do you rate her on the scale of 1 to 10? But there is no universal scale of a woman being 1 to 10.
Right.
There's no, so we can literally go in a room, ask each guy about a female, a particular female, and say, what do you rate her on a scale of 1 to 10? I guarantee you, you'll have a whole bunch of different ratings.
Right.
6, 8, 7. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is that he tried to make it as though woman, if you were a 6 in his view, you're going to be a 6 across the board. And
Right.
that's just not reality. And that's one of the issues that I have with Kevin Samuels' viewpoint. He has women thinking that, if she's a 6, she's doomed because a certain level of man won't take her on and find her attractive. And I just disagree with that because beauty, it literally is in the eye of the beholder, and it's very subjective. I'm pretty sure you can pull up a bunch of men who are celebrities and look at their wives, and other men may not approve of it.
Omari Hardwick is one of them from Power.
I'm not gonna listen. You can go. I'm not gonna go there.
Well, I'm going to go there. I mean,
a woman can go there as a man,
as
an alpha. I'm not going to do it.
He's one of them, though. I'm just giving you an example.
But okay,
she came out. What I'm saying is that he actually came under fire for having a wife that to the public looked the way that she did.
But she's a 10 to him.
Right.
And that's all that listen. The bottom line is just because he felt like certain women were 6s and 8s doesn't mean that on another man's scale that she can't be a 10. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to lay down with this woman. No one else is going to be there. And that's just something I disagree with. There is no scale that all men agree, and you're doomed because you're a 6. The reason why a woman can't get a high value man, for the most part, is one, is not too many of them, and you have to be in that network. Right? If you're not in that network, what are the odds and chances you're going to come across an NBA player or somebody who's a billionaire? Like, if you're not in that, that network of men, right? So most women won't get that type of man, especially to wife, right? You may get some guys who are just, he'll take it down, but he ain't really trying to take you down the altar, right? Those are different types of taking it down, right? So yeah, that's the second point I disagree with. But I want to go back to my question. Do you remember where we was with my question with you? Because I think I was breaking it down before you got disconnected. Do you remember? I said, no, you don't
I'm not going to remember everything.
I just wanted to know, because this show is about what the people think, because you guys were following Kevin, right? Was it a situation where, some black men might have had some trouble relationships in the past with black women, and now they look at all black women as they're crazy, they're this, they're that, and then they start dating outside the so-called race, right? I wanted to know if that may have been Kevin Samuels' situation, because he was married in the past to a black woman, or at least with black woman, and then of course it didn't work out, and now you find him with an Asian Pacific woman, the last woman that he was found to be with, that tried to save his life. And my question is, do you think that maybe he just had enough with black women, and part of his social commentary was based on how he possibly feels about black women based on his previous situations and relations with these women? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that it could possibly be a source of hate?
I really don't know. That, I don't have a crystal ball. So anything that I say is really based on assumption. And I don't really like to assume too much. I only like to deal with what's been presented. And to me, you know, looking at things at face value, he had two failed marriages. One was his high
Right.
school sweetheart.
Right.
That lasted about a year and a half. And then 7 years later, he had another marriage with someone else.
Right.
And that lasted for 3.5 years. And since then, I mean, he died at 57. So you do the math. He hasn't been in a marriage, right? Quite frankly, I don't see how he was qualified in the slightest to really speak about, you know, marriage, what qualities are desired regarding marriage. I don't feel like he was qualified to speak on that level because of the early age that he was married. He got married, to his high school sweetheart, and it lasted 1 year. There was 1.5 years. It was one daughter that resulted from that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, 1.5 years in marriage is like that's laughable. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
3.5 years in marriage, like what kind of depth do you really have to offer as far as like marriage advice, or to even, begin to create an entire campaign around the characteristics that's needed for marriage. So that was like
Yes.
a huge
Good
thing
point.
for me. Um, Only because he touted himself like an authority figure. He was just so cavalier with what he was speaking on,
Yeah.
that like just putting women down, especially, um, in his delivery, it's like, okay, like instantly the idea that you would have in your head is like, okay, let me see what your rap sheet is like. You know what I'm saying? Since you want to criticize and finger point, let me see what your rap sheet is. And he
Right.
made sure to be extremely private with his own life. He was very private. In fact, in an interview with DJ Vlad, he straight out said, I don't have anything to say about my marriages. You know,
I actually saw that interview because I watched
yeah,
Vlad from time
he
to time.
wanted to keep it private. For one, both of them are married. They're remarried, right? But also he was just very tight-lipped about his own life. Um, so, it's I can't assume
It's hard to say, right?
on
It's
like
hard
if
to say.
he like hated. Yeah, it's hard to say because he didn't get into the nitty-gritty of what his relationships were like. Apparently he just got word on the street is that he just got current with the back child support that he owed with his first wife. He just got current recently with it. Um and that's about all that I know in particular about his marriages. So I can't really say that he hated Black women. I don't know the type of relationship that he had with his mother. What he did say about his mother was that he was the only child. And,
Mm.
it was impressed upon him to
Yeah,
be a Samuels. You
I
were a
heard that.
Samuels. And what was it like to be raised as a Samuels?
Right.
You know, high achieving, if that makes sense. But
So that's
I
fair.
can't really, I can't make a judgment on that.
So the only reason why I asked that is once again, like I don't know anything. Besides the few clips I've seen about this guy, I really did this show to get some people on so we could talk. So if you are listening in the chat, definitely feel free to click the link in the chat on YouTube. Click the link, join the panel. We want to hear your thoughts. Don't just stay in the chat. Join the panel and share your thoughts. But the reason why I put this question up, and I want to ask some of the listeners that his people that follow him to see if they got that impression from him, is because I've known some men to say these things. They've had bad experiences with women in the past, and they turned that into this whole tirade against Black women, and they say, well, black women are crazy because of the 10 that they dealt with. You see what I'm saying? I've
Mm-hmm.
seen men do that. And then a lot of times, and this is why I believe in this mature topics podcast lives, is that one thing about me, I don't have an agenda. I'm not trying to push a narrative, right? Um, I try to stay objective, right? I don't tie myself to any real ideologies, right? Because those things, when you have a standpoint or a belief, you always have to have a position to defend. So if you feel as though a woman or black woman are a certain way, then you always have to present, you know, descriptions or scenarios of women being that way. It's called confirmation bias. And I'm not saying that that's something that he did, but when people are fixed or they have a certain standpoint, they tend to argue from that standpoint. And it's hard. It's sort of like a flat earther, right? You, you to get into a conversation or anything with a flat earther is kind of pointless because they're always going to believe the earth is flat. There's nothing you can say to change that perspective. You get what I'm saying? So anytime they do research or Google something, it's going to be to prove the earth is flat.
Right.
So if he did feel that way towards black women, then it wouldn't be a surprise as to his commentary or his criticism towards black women to be that way if that's something that he was doing. So okay, here's the last question I want to ask. And I saw this in the New York Times article that they have written on Kevin Samuels. And they said that some people thought his views to be misogynistic and perpetuates stereotypes of black women. Is this something that you agree with, or you think that is a accurate claim?
That his
His
stance
views were misogynistic. His stance was misogynistic and perpetuated stereotypes of black women.
I do agree with that.
Oh,
Um,
we got somebody jumping on. Let me see. We got Dust Love in the building. Let me change
What
the.
up?
How's it going, Dust?
What's
Me,
going on, man?
let's get you on the screen. What's going on? What's your thoughts of this topic thus far? We've been talking about Kevin Samuels, and does the question we asked was, does Kevin Samuels like or hate black women? And also, did he want to help black women do better, or did he use black women as a stepping stool to get views by criticizing them in a harsh way on social media?
I feel like what I've seen, because I ain't seen much, but what I've seen, I feel like what he's trying to say is just be to a standard that you really are at. You know what I'm saying? Don't try and be, don't use men, don't try and sit there and be like, don't try and level up off of them. If you ain't got nothing, if you ain't got nothing to bring to the table, then don't try and just don't use them as a come up. You
mhm.
know what I'm saying? Don't ask for more than you can't handle. You know what I'm saying? Because mostly these women already have, they already have things. They already have money. And I seen one episode where he was like, this woman had like 2 or 3 kids, for an example.
Okay.
And the truth is, a man that already have like maybe 6 figures, for an example, he ain't gonna be checking for that. That's my opinion. Unless he just trying to make a family, and why not make a family of your own?
Mhm. Mhm.
You know,
I respect that. I respect where you're coming from with that. Definitely. I that was one of the things that I agree with. I said that you know, because I'm objective, so I can find points for or against. And one of the things I said was he challenged woman's unrealistic expectations. Right. So
right,
if you want a millionaire and you work at Walmart, for an example, and you don't have millionaire men in your network, so how are you even going to come into contact with these guys? You know,
right.
like how is that even a realistic goal? You know, so I do agree with that. That I think that some women do have these unrealistic expectations. They try to get a man, um, and they have no way of even being in that network. So I do agree with that. So you don't believe that he hates black women? Do you think that he really tried to help them do better?
I think that he want black women to be realistic. You
Okay,
know,
that's fair.
because at the end of the day, it's gonna be share and share alike.
Right.
And if there's no share and share alike, then the outcome is gonna be it's gonna it's gonna it's going to end up in a divorce or something like that, or you're gonna split.
Okay.
So I think that share and share alike is what he's trying to preach. Like you can't ask for what you're not worthy of.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's just so and I don't know. I don't really know I've seen two clips, so I don't really know how deep he got. So
Right. Right. Okay. So based off what you saw, did you find any of his views to be because I saw this in the New York Times. They said that his views could be deemed to be misogynistic and perpetuate stereotypes of black women.
nah, I don't
You don't
think
think
it's
so?
that. I don't think it goes that far. I don't
Okay.
think it goes that far. But I do feel like he's just like basically saying, you work to get what you want. And like if you let's say for an example, man has kids, woman has no kids.
Okay.
There's a chance that woman might work with that. But a man, maybe mid 30s, maybe 35, well rounded, got all this stuff together. It's a double edged sword kind of. So I mean, that makes it even harder to find what you're looking for.
Right. Well, when you're in your 30s, I would suspect that you would expect someone to have kids. I mean, if you dating in your 30s and 40s, chances are the person you looking to be with, if you're dating in that age range, more than likely would have a kid. Because people get divorced, people break up. You don't think that a woman in her 30s or 40s, or even men, would have to like be open to dealing with a person with a kid?
Right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But all of the women that he's talking to are young though.
Right.
They're
Right.
young. They're a little younger though.
Yeah. I could see a woman out of college. You 22. I would even suggest, hey, if he got kids, especially if he has kids in his 20s, like his young 20s, I don't know, that could be a little dicey. Um,
Yeah.
but I feel you. So I do have a question. Being that you're a man, I want to know, is there a universal scale from 1 to 10 that men can agree on to judge women. So like Rihanna, we all think she's a 10. I don't know, Oprah, we all think she's a 4. Is
Man,
there a
let me tell you something,
universal?
man. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about a man.
Go
Let me
ahead.
tell you something about a man, Hoss. That like you said earlier, that scale gonna bounce around, man, because Oprah, Oprah might be a 6 to some men. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
Right.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like you said, that's an up and down scale, man.
It's an up and
That's an
down
up and down
scale.
scale. But but once you, I don't know, like it seemed like all of the women that he was talking to, it seemed like they just want men that have like they are they're well rounded financially. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's hard to find a man that's well rounded financially when they by themselves. You see what I'm saying?
Right. No, and because most men earn under 100K a year, only 10% of
Right.
men earn 100K or more. So if you're saying, "Oh, I need a guy that makes 500,000," I mean, if you don't have that network of men, I mean, your expectations are unrealistic. More than likely, that's not going to happen. So you should open your horizon. Because my thing I always say on my channel is, a lady should go after the right guy for her, the guy that's going to love her, that's going to be committed to her, that's going to want to take care of her and be there for her. So just because a guy has a lot more money, in fact, men who have more money are less prone to be monogamous.
Yeah.
So, they're
Yeah.
they're looking to, plant their seeds in some case. I'm not saying all of them, but look at guys like Floyd Mayweather, Rick Ross, right? These guys openly, they're who you would consider to be high value men, and they're open with the fact
Right.
that they're not settling down. So don't even get into a situation with them and think that you're going to be the only one.
You,
So,
you know, you,
yeah,
you
go ahead.
I feel like it comes down to patience. It comes down to patience, man. You dealing with when you trying to build, if you trying to build something, it's gonna come down to patience.
Mm,
No, I mean that's just outright the truth. Because if you talking about 2 months, 3 months, you can forget about it. You can forget about that. That ain't gonna last long. That ain't gonna last
mm,
long because you got that a man a man speaking from a man perspective, and I hate to say this,
right.
I think a woman, I think a strong woman has to be, well, unfortunately, strong women are, I want to say it, they have to be more patient than we do because we always on the move and they always waiting, and it sucks. It sucks, but you looking for the come up. I mean, you looking for the one that's gonna be mentally on your level. That guy, that man, he don't calm down until he at least reaches at least 35.
Uh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying like if he got it like that, it'll take longer for that guy to want to settle down to be like in a monogamous relationship.
Right. If he's single. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If
like
he's
he's
single
single and rich, single and
and
rich.
rich. Yes, yes,
I see what you're
yes.
saying. Yeah, it's that's why I say like you should date to actually find real love. Now I'm not saying that a woman
Right.
should deal with just any broke dude, like, but if he has a job and he's self-reliant, he take care of himself, that should be what that should it should just be that. Like, right, you shouldn't have to just say, well, he had, and then also a lot of guys aspire to make more. So some
Right.
guys may start at 60, but then in the next 5 years they become millionaires. So That's another thing that a woman should factor in too. You know.
Yeah, and like and like what you have and what I have, like it's like we get lackluster sometimes. So we need a push, and a woman is a push. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to inspire you. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to think when you're not thinking, and they
Mm.
always thinking. They ain't never gonna stop thinking. So I feel like if you got a man that's already got it figured out, that's even harder, man. That's gonna be way harder. That's gonna
Mm.
be harder on that man. But I feel like looking. I feel like looking is the wrong way to go. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay.
In my opinion, looking for a man is the hard way to go, man.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying? And in our time, let's say on a weekly basis, how many men would you say a woman meet?
I
Even
mean,
yours, even mine's.
if they
I mean,
outside
internet,
in a big,
and that's including internet.
well, the internet just makes it a crazy, insurmountable number. Like, yeah, it's a lot. But as far as uh, you know what, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see where I should go with that. I'm just gonna leave it. But I hear where you're
No,
coming
don't
from.
leave it. Don't leave it. Do not leave it. Bring it.
No. I see where you were going with where you were saying. All I was saying is that some of the women that could be considered lower on that 1 to 10 scale, they seem to have no problem with getting someone to love them, being in um of a good relationship. Whereas you have some women who are 10s and they single and they got
Yeah.
all types of people in their DMs, and like you said, they got, it's a lot of traffic, but they aren't qualifying good guys to actually commit to for whatever reason. And that's why I think that I always say when we talk about realistic, what we're really saying is having a balanced approach. Like, yes, of course, what woman wouldn't want a guy with 7 figures, right?
Yeah.
Super rich, successful, right? But
Yeah.
and the reality of it is, if you work a job and you're making 80,000, 60,000 a year, you should expect to find a person that makes around that amount of money,
Right.
right? And so it's all about managing your expectations. And that's something that I think Kevin Samuels he brought to the table, and it will stay. Launch Pro, you there?
Yes.
I do. I want to ask that same question to you. Do you feel his views were misogynistic? And I don't think you answered that, or did you?
I didn't fully. I mean, if we're going to address misogyny, like we got to get down to the definition of misogyny, which is essentially dislike of or contempt or ingrained prejudice
Yeah.
against women, right?
Yeah.
Um, so from that angle, I'm not going to say that he was misogynistic. I'll say that for shits and giggles, his content came across misogynistically, right? Because he would pretty much create like this grading system, this numerical grading system for beauty, right, which is subjective,
Right, we
as
spoke
you
about it. Yep.
both of you guys have already addressed, right?
Mhm.
So that in and of itself is misogynistic because, again, like on average, physical features are going to differ what one preference is for another man is not essentially the same preference for another. And I think in general, like when you're talking about the dating sphere and getting to know someone, there's a lot of factors that come into play outside of just like the physical features. Sometimes it's the package, right? Now, a few things that I've been in a disagreement with regarding Kevin Samuels' positioning is the aspect of identifying certain characteristics that women have when they are approaching men to date, right? Or what their value systems are. For example, they want a man who makes more money than them. Oftentimes, we're not really exploring where that comes from, like from an originative perspective. So I think, honestly, patriarchy is to blame for that, right? Where women, before women's suffrage, had to stay home and be the homemakers, you know, and rely on their men, honestly, for provision, right? For finances, to be fed, etc. I don't think women, especially Black women, have truly made the transition psychologically from pre-suffrage movement to now, like in the new millennia. I don't think that that's actually dissipated, even though women are now assuming more accolades, like academically, career-wise, etc. Right? So like there's certain things that are like a little bit imbued and ingrained in us from our history in this country that haven't really been addressed by Kevin Samuels. In addition, as far as just, you know, some of the things that he said, like men want fit women. Okay. That really was interesting because
hold on. You said no, Dusty?
Look, no, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
But this is something that he touted, you know, and that honestly goes to the ideal of like a Eurocentric, European westernized view of what beauty is. Like, what exactly is a fit woman? Now, I'm 5'3". You know, before I was with child, I was 150. And for those metrics, by far, you know, I am overweight. According to the BMI calculator in Western medicine, that is considered overweight, right? But phenotypically, like just physically speaking, I looked appropriate for the size. I didn't look essentially obese, right? Now, according to Kevin Samuels, me being a fit woman, right? Exactly. Like I wasn't skinny, but I also was not fat. I was well proportioned. However, I knew that I was overweight, right? Now, with Kevin Samuels, his view as a fit woman, when I was about 18, 19 years old, I was fit, but that didn't necessarily correspond to what men wanted, which were curves. You know what I'm saying? Like at that time, you graduated from high school, you're a freshman in college, and what is the thing that's venerated in Black culture? Big booty, small waist, you know what I'm saying? Big bosom. And according to Kevin Samuels, like that fit approach, even though I was fit, it didn't really fit the mold of what is actually desired by his target audience of men in the first place.
Right.
So it's like that, I think, breaking down of like self-image for women came across misogynistically. And a lot of women just didn't appreciate that. He actually used stats to back up his claims. Like 80% of women in America are overweight. We understand this, but again, there's different factors that come into play. When you're talking about BMI, you could have a woman who is heavier on the scale, but she's like stacked with muscle, you know? So like, what exactly are you saying? Most men, most Black men like them thick. And that's all I'm seeing when I look outside. You know, when I look outside, I see skinny men with these bodacious women. It wasn't an accurate reflection.
It varies. Some men are into, you know, like Dusty say, he thinks that the beauty standard is more, you know, on the thick side. Some men will like them slim. Some men
Yeah,
like them big. I had a friend that
man,
liked them real, like they had to be heavyweight champions.
man.
So,
Don't let her be
so,
coming home.
so, that of course that's going back to the 1 to 10 scale, disagreement. So did he perpetuate stereotypes?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he
He
did.
Okay.
He
definitely
did.
did. And he
He
utilized
did.
like just name
He did.
calling for the purpose of like, we understand that like in today's society, right? Certain vernacular that was used back then is no longer used because
Yeah.
we've evolved so as to not offend people. You know what I'm saying? Like someone who's mentally disabled, we're not going to use the R word to describe someone who's
Yeah,
mentally,
please don't. Not on
right?
YouTube, please.
Exactly. We're not going to do that.
Right,
So
yeah.
in essence, like when he wanted to kind of impart that women who reach a certain age are known as geriatric pregnancies, and you're calling like a 32-year-old a geriatric patient, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You are deliberately trying to denigrate a woman. You're trying
Yeah.
What about
to
the
like
woman on
reduce,
leftovers? What about
yeah,
that at
reduce her
over
value.
35?
Mm-hmm.
Right. By using certain verbiage in how you articulate it. So you're not moving with the cheese, essentially. You know what I'm saying? You're not saying, okay, because what you call them is high risk. I am 32 years old. According to the med book, I am 2 years shy of like what you would consider a high risk pregnancy. We're not sitting up here, right? Especially in an age where the life expectancy of a human being is far extending from the 60s or even the 50s, to call like 30 something year olds
Geriatric.
geriatric patients. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
he used certain words that were offensive, and he did it for profit. And so from that angle, like I couldn't really get down with him all the way.
Wow. I want to thank you too for like, this feedback based on what you guys saw from Kevin Samuels. I just was curious because there's been so many videos and people talking about him, and I never really watched too much of them, but I did want to touch on some of the things because he does like similar type of commentary. He was trying to give relationship advice and things like that. We talk about a lot of relationship stuff on here, on mature topics. So is there anything else you guys would want to say like about Kevin? Because I do have another topic I want to hit.
Mhm.
I'm curious to see what's Dust Love's perspective on it, and yours too, Launch Pro.
Mhm.
Uh, is there anything else you guys would want to
I just
say? And
I
and
just
hold on,
put that
and
I just
before
put
you
that
before you
name.
comment, okay, go ahead.
I just put that name because I feel like it feel right you know
Nah, it's cool. Dust
for
Love is
the whole
fire. I like
feel
that.
that you got going on.
That's your new name going forward. Dust Love.
No,
I like it.
no, no, no. Please don't say that. No, no.
But no, I wanted to say
Please don't.
if anybody else who's listening to the stream, if y'all want to jump in, feel free to hit the link on the YouTube channel. There's a StreamYard link. You can click it and join the panel. We'll be on here for a couple of more minutes. I do want to touch on the secondary topic. So if you guys have anything else you would like to say about this Kevin Samuels, we could get that out and then move on to
Hold
the
on. Let me.
next.
I'm gonna put my phone down. But go ahead.
Okay.
May he
Okay.
rest in peace, man. Like, that's all I have to say regarding the matter. I'm not here to disrespect him. Um, I rocked with him, for a good while. I was someone who watched his content and I was entertained by his content. There were some things that he said that I agreed with, but like I said, eventually I began to just distance myself from the barrage of insults, calling a
Right.
woman Ja Rule simply because she didn't answer your question the way that you would have liked her to answer the question. You know what I'm saying? And he called her Ja Rule because she didn't have hair on her head. And
Wow.
you're doing
Wow.
this in front of like thousands of people tapping into your lives on Instagram. You know, he could easily get 1,000, 2,000, sometimes 4,000 views. You know what I'm saying? Or telling, you know, saying that Lizzo is gonna drop dead of a heart attack. Irony would have it though, you know,
Oh,
or like
wow.
another woman is calling and you
Look,
asking about her dress size, you know, saying, damn, I could hear the cholesterol over the phone. Things like that. It's just, I don't know. Like I can't subject myself to that.
it's
Mm-hmm,
it's
Go
funny
ahead,
you
Dust
bring
Love.
up Lizzo. It's funny you bring up Lizzo
mm-hmm.
because you know how many men in this world.
Would
You know
love
how
a
many
Lizzo, yeah.
men in this world that love some Lizzo.
Uh-huh.
They
I know a couple.
love this woman.
I know a
Mhm.
couple. You got to be a heavyweight champion. That's what they
That's
told
a
me.
fact.
That's their words, not mine. Heavyweight champion.
At the-
I'm
at the-
telling you.
no, you ain't got to be that. The thing is,
No, I'm telling you what they
the
told me.
thing is, she's confident.
Mm-hmm.
She's confident. She feel good about herself. She love herself. She don't need nobody to tell her that, you know, she's stunning. You know what I'm saying? Like she comes out, she does what she does because she love herself. And if you don't love yourself, who the hell gonna love you?
That's a
That's
fact.
true. That's true.
You see
And
what I'm saying?
what
It's
I the
almost
last
like a
thing,
magnet. You draw to that.
Mm-hmm.
right,
You don't draw to nobody that's down in themselves.
right. No, you're
You see
right.
what I'm saying?
You're right.
So I mean, like it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter if this guy work at, let's say, Walmart, like you said. But if he got an inspiration or ambition about him,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
he see way more than Walmart, and he find and it is what it is. The truth
Yep.
is, a man needs a woman. He needs a woman, not sexually, but to drive them. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They the engine. You know what I'm saying? They
Mm,
gonna always be the engine, man.
Mm-hmm.
Always. You know what I'm saying?
respect.
So,
Respect.
you know, like let's say 2013, I was making $14 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I got comfortable with that. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
And my old lady was like, I was comfortable with the time that I was getting off. My old lady came down on me, yo. I was gonna wait and hold this back, yo, because I was gonna bring her on the next segment. But
Mm-hmm.
the next time y'all do this, but she came down on me, man. She came down on me like, yo, basically saying, you got to go out there and get it. And ever since then, I've been out there to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, yo, that woman, that woman is the engine that drives a man. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't got
Mm.
that, yo, if you ain't got that, yo, you're gonna always have a guy that's gonna be playing around. He gonna always be doing what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And if you like working at Walmart or doing whatever you doing, if he ain't, especially if he ain't strong minded,
Mm-hmm.
like I was, then you know it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and he's gonna always be a failure. I'm sorry, but
Mm.
a woman refused to fail, especially in this day. Like maybe back. Look, if you look back in the 80s and 90s,
Mm-hmm.
a woman a woman was stooping down to a man's level and failing. You see
Mm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they was down to stoop to their level just to keep them. But now, house,
Oh, nah, forget about it.
in this day and time, yo, they're hot. They're like their mind is right. Their mind is right. Their mind is where where it's supposed to be, and they're like, yo, I'm not settling for this. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days, that was settling. Look at like your like your fiance said. Back in the look, they settled for that. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? They settled for that. Now they ain't
Yeah.
settling for that. They
Yep.
almost to the point, like yo, they at the point now to where they making what man is making, and that's what they fighting for, and they deserve it if that's what they working for. You see what I'm saying? So they ain't settling for a man that's gonna sit there, yo, and just be complacent. A
There we
woman
go.
ain't a
Yeah.
woman ain't never gonna be complacent. Also, you know what I'm saying? You got to
Fact.
compromise, and you still got to grow at the same time. It ain't never gonna stop.
Mhm.
It ain't never gonna stop, man. You ain't never gonna be comfortable. You never
I,
gonna be comfortable, yo.
I hear that. I just want to close out the Kevin Samuels part so we get a couple of minutes on the next topic. But I just want to say, if you in the chat, you listening, like the comment on the screen says, click that link to tap in. It's on Facebook and it's on YouTube in the chat. Click that link and it get you in here. We're moving on to the next topic. But if you do want to talk about Kevin Samuels, we can go back just for you. But we're moving on to the next topic. The last thing I want to say about Kevin Samuels to all the content creators out there, if you are, making videos trying to tear down a man just because you disagree with him, I don't condone that. Now, I'm for challenging his views because there's a lot of things that came across my desk that I disagree with. But at the same time, praising the man for dying and all that's not necessary because you wouldn't want anyone to do that to your loved one, no matter how much of a jerk or knucklehead they were. You wouldn't want anyone to do that to your loved one. So that's all I want to say about that. So I do want to get to this next topic though. Does a woman have to lose weight to please her husband? I'm curious to know. Launch Pro, you want to go first, ladies first? What
Um,
are your thoughts?
a woman should never lose weight to please her husband. She should lose weight because that's what she wants to do for herself. To be health conscious if necessary. I'm of the school of thought where extra adipose tissue can pose so many complications, so many health complications. Sleep apnea being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Diabetes being another. High cholesterol, etc. Um, Poor digestive system function due to like the pressure on the abdomen due to fat, excess adipose tissue. So I feel as though women should definitely make that move for themselves if they desire to lose weight. It shouldn't be to please a man.
Okay, that's a powerful perspective. What about you, Dust Love? Does your woman has to lose weight to please you?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I respect it. I respect it.
That's hard to
That's
do, man.
go ahead.
That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to do, man. Because you ain't doing it for yourself. That's hard to do, man.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
your mind ain't gonna be in it. You know, like
Yeah,
like you're not mentally in it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a push. You know what I'm saying? It's a push from your counterpart. It's a push from me, well, your man. It's a push from your man. And then now you thinking about what your man think more so than what you think.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
no, hell no. I agree. I disagree with that. But I don't know. I think that a man that if she come out like and he's gonna do it with her, that's more fun. That's gonna
Right.
be more
Yeah.
fun. But
Teamwork.
yeah, but like to just to please a man, no. Nah, this isn't the old days.
Right.
Yeah, I think like to answer the question, and if you're in the panel, if you're in the comments again and you want to chime in, like I posted on the screen, here's the link to join the panel. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We get ready to wrap up soon, but I do want to hear other people's thoughts on the matters. This is what Mature Topics is all about. So, um, to answer the question, should a woman lose weight to please her husband? First off, why did she get well, did she have the weight when she first got with her husband? That's the first question, right? Because if she got the weight, she had the weight when she first got with her, it's kind of unfair and unrealistic for him to ask her to lose weight just to satisfy him because he has this visual ideal that how a woman's supposed to look, or that's kind of like unfair because you met her that way, right? So that's the first
Yeah.
perspective. The second perspective is now the only no before I jump to the second perspective, the only way that's fair is if she has severe health complications where she has to lose weight. So now she's not losing the weight to please him. She's losing the weight because her life depends on it. That's a completely different outlook. And now he's like trying to, be that support, be that rock for her to help her lose the weight. But it's just simply shouldn't be just to please him. The second perspective is maybe you got with her. She, her BMI was right, and now she may have had some kids and she might have put on some pounds because of the kids, baby's out, and now she hasn't lost the weight. So now you're used to, when you got with her, one of the things you loved was that she was a quote unquote fit woman, and now she's unfit and you're unhappy, right? So I'm hoping that when we ask this question, it's for that scenario, because that scenario, in my opinion, is like a better outlook. Because if you got with a woman you consider to be a heavyweight champion and then you want her to lose weight, that's just unfair, right? But if she's put on some pounds because of kids and things like that, and now you're not satisfied with the weight, I still don't think that she should necessarily lose the weight to please you, because one, your views can change, and also age plays a factor too. Like naturally with age you gain weight. So the question is a very layered and complicated question. What I would say is that if a woman is in a position where she has to lose weight for health reasons, you have to do, but it should be the reason. A man's fetishes changes. A man's fetishes is fickle. One day they like it like this, the next day they like it like that. So just to do it just to please him, I don't find a good reason for that, because at the end of the day, his perspective can change. And if you had kids and you're getting older, that's something that is natural for a woman to put on weight, and I just don't see the fairness out of a man doing it for a man, because only because his perspectives can change, and going back to the health situation, if it's health related, and it is healthy to be within a certain weight, right? So we're not going to make excuses for bad health and things of that nature. But at the same time, some women, just carry more weight than others. So I to answer the question, it depends on the situation and the circumstance. But I still don't think that a woman should solely do it just to please her husband, because it's something that you can never satisfy, and especially as we get older. And that's just where I see it. Now, do you guys, based on what I just said, do you guys think that if a woman did put on more weight than her husband, he got with her at a certain weight, now he's looking at her like she may put on too much weight, what do you think happens in that situation? Should she just lose the weight in that circumstance to please him?
No,
No.
no, she should definitely want to maintain her weight for her own health. You know what I'm saying? Because self-love is first and foremost.
Right.
But I say that to say this too. You don't want to, get into a relationship and then lose yourself and let yourself go. I think that it's very important to upkeep yourself too. So I'm not trying to have a blanket approach for women to just get out of jail card free. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I gain weight, accept me, fool. Nah, it can't be like that either. So to please a
Well,
man,
that's why I
no.
threw the kids. I threw the kids in there because some women do gain and keep weight after they have kids.
This
That's
is
why I did
a
that
fact.
versus just like a woman just like completely, maybe she's going through depression or something and she's just
Right.
growing out of, that I think that circumstance is different because if you do have any sort of issues, whether it be mental or physical, you should seek to get that addressed, especially if you have kids in the family. You don't want to, so, but at the same time, I still just can't see it for a man. It's like not just for that sole reason of pleasing your man.
Right,
Right?
exactly. It
No,
can't be the primary reason.
no.
Where
It
you at,
shouldn't.
Dust Love?
It shouldn't be.
There got to be some push somewhere though. There has to be somebody has to say something though.
Right. Right.
Somebody has to say something. Somebody has to do something. So I
Hmm.
mean, I don't think that. I think that the work has to be done, and it always have to start with talk. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if you thinking it, it's gonna come out, and you might as well go out the way and speak it. You feel me? So like if
Yeah.
you speak, go ahead and handle it that way
Mm-hmm.
because you can end up in an argument and it could come out the wrong way.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, go ahead and handle your business. Handle your business like men. If you don't like what you're seeing, you know what I'm saying? But look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day.
Mm.
And then, like losing weight after kids, man, it's not easy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy.
Right. Right.
Patience is everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
like losing weight, you got to have that patience. That's hard work.
Yeah.
And then it's even more hard work when you got to work. When you got a when you got a job, when you got a
Yeah.
job, and then you talking about going to lose this weight, and then you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about like cutting back on what you eat. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of discipline. So you
No, it
know,
sure does.
um, I don't know. There's strength. There got to be some strength somewhere. And if you are with a if you with a man, if you like got a boyfriend or you married, th- there got to be a partnership in that too as well. That's what I think
Right.
because it's hard. That's hard.
That's
Losing
hard.
weight,
And
losing weight is hard, man.
yeah, it definitely is. And like it can become a complicated situation. Like, listen, if you have a woman like I have a woman that I think is wonderful and incredible, um, and if I
I
was in
can
that
tell.
circumstance, because she's pregnant right now, she's having a baby, and with the weight, the added weight is not even an issue for me. So, but but if it did get to a scenario where her health was diminishing,
Mm-hmm.
then I can see a man stepping in like, hey, let's have a conversation. Or if it's just like you think it could be some other issues attributed to her gaining weight, like if even if it's, let's say it's not with kids and she's just put on 50 pounds since you've been married,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's she's going through something. And so now if she is going through something, it'd be better off to address the thing that she's going through. So now it's like you address that issue, and now she has more motivation to get back to
Right.
working out and doing her thing. But I think if you have a great woman that you say you love, I think that it's not that you want her to put, not that you're
It ain't gonna
hoping she
matter.
gains weight, huh?
It ain't gonna matter. It's not gonna
But
matter.
right, but I'm just saying, not that you hope, and not that you hope it's going that she gains the weight, right? Because we're not saying that you're coaching her to put on 50 pounds, or you're going to be her cheerleader while she's putting on the weight. But at the
Right.
same time, I think that as we get older, we're going to put on weight. So when you're signing up for a lifelong relationship, the body's going to go through, as we get older, our bodies are not going to be like how it once was. So if you expect this woman to stay like how you met her when she was 21, dude, like that's just not it. That's not reality, because you're also going to change. And some of these dudes don't age right either. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, once again, I don't think the pleasing to please him. I think that is like it shouldn't have to be. If you say, hey, I want to look nice for my man, that's cool. But all I'm saying is look nice for yourself,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it's your body. You know what I mean? And you have to take care of it. So I don't think that it should be left into the man's hands when there isn't an issue, like, like I said, depression, health, right? I don't think it should just be a man just like telling a woman, somebody chimed in the comments. Let's see.
Get in there.
She missed too much. It's a Kim Baker. Hold on, let me put her comment on the screen. I'm still learning how to salute to Kim Baker. I know you missed too much. It's cool. If you still want to chime in, to say something, just to say hi, you can. The link is in the chat. You can still get on. And we're getting ready to wrap up soon, but we have a couple of more minutes, and we always like to hear what the people have to say.
Look,
That's if you want to.
Do we really got to wrap up soon though?
Well, I like to keep
If
it
you want to
within
keep it vibing, listen, we can keep it vibing.
This is really fun though.
I know. Mature Topics is lit, is where it's at. You know what I mean? But we don't want to make this stream. We got a couple of more minutes to talk, so that if anybody else from the chat wants to chime in, it's never too late. As long as we're alive. The motto here is no person left behind. So
that's a fact. Listen, anybody who's just chiming in, definitely answer the question: does a woman have to lose weight to please her husband?
Right. Yeah. Oh, we lost Dust Love. He probably stepping out, coming back. But so yeah, that's the topic we're on now. Does a woman have to lose weight to please her husband? We definitely gave some great insight with that. And also, I put the first topic back up. The question of the night was, does Kevin Samuels like black women, or did he like black women? Because he's no longer with us. And if that's the topic you would like to, his Dust Love is back. But if that's the topic you would like to chime in on, you could chime on, come talk about that as well. We have a couple of more minutes left. And we rocking. So any more thoughts on Wade and, from a woman's side?
I honestly don't think that matters, man. I went to my barber, and when a couple came in, the guy came in, and he came in with 2 kids, and the woman was like, I don't know the exact weight, but I'm guessing 350 pounds.
Whoa.
Honestly.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's my limit. You see what I'm saying? So my automatic guess is, yo, that's what he like. You know what I'm saying? That's what he loved.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I don't think that really matters to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that we're too caught up into I don't think that we're caught up into the real world.
Right. I say that
I
all the
think that
time.
we I think that we're caught up into what we seeing on the internet mostly.
Mhm. Mhm.
To what we're seeing on like TV. You see what I'm saying? So like I don't think that really matters because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, when you see your old lady, when you see your old lady, when she dresses up and when she takes it all off, you love her the same. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So like I don't think that it matters. You like what you like. You like what you
Right.
like.
Yeah, yeah. No, we respect that. And and like you said, when you say you like what you like, men's fetishes can change, right? So to just judge it on a man's what a man wants, I don't think that's fair.
Right.
I think that a woman needs to if she feels like she needs to get in shape, she needs to get in shape. And only time a man really should step in is when something is off. If he knows his woman is a gym buff and she stops going to the gym and she puts on 25 pounds, then maybe he could chime in and say, hey, is everything okay? But keep the
Yeah.
focus on if
Knowing
there's
your
an
woman.
issue. Right. You got to know your woman. You got to
Mm-hmm.
know your woman. That's the key to all of this. And then like I said, as we get older, you like, come on, you can't expect a woman to stay like she was when you were 21. Like if you 44, like a woman's body's gonna go through changes, especially if she has kids. So
Mhm.
I just think men just need to man up at times and and to be honest, like you said something that was so key. You said that the real world. I always say like people in this social media world, they live in a social media world. Like we did last week, what did we talk about, Lance? Did we talk about women having to be fit or something like that? Or did I talk about that? I can't remember. I probably did a video on women being fit. Or what does it mean to be fit or something like that.
Mhm.
And you can't really give an honest answer. And but there's this narrative on social media that men want women who are fit. So then my question always comes back to why are so many so-called fit women single? If that's what men want, why are there a gang of women who are fit, so-called fit? Why are they single? Right? It just kind of boggles my mind. Like people get so caught up with like the filters and living in a social media driven world. It's
Mhm.
like you lose touch with what's really going on. Because in the
Yeah.
real world, people are getting together. People, right? We got somebody else on the panel. Let's see if they want to
Because in
get in
the real
here.
world,
Hello,
people are getting
Kimmy.
together. People,
Right, we got somebody else on
Hi,
the
can y'all
panel.
hear me?
Yes.
You might have to turn down your background.
Okay, hold on. Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Yep.
You might have to turn down your background.
Okay, hold on. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, whatever you're playing the show on, you got to turn it down.
Okay, can y'all hear me better now?
Yes.
Yes, you sound
I had like
perfect.
3 tabs open. I've been trying to get on here.
Oh, no sweat. Well, you're here now, and like we have a saying on here, no person left behind. So we have two topics we talking about. The current topic we're talking about right now is does a woman have to lose weight to please her husband? And the first topic, which was the topic of the night, was did Kevin Samuels like black woman? So
Well,
is there a particular topic you would like to jump into first?
I first want to address, do you have to lose weight to please your husband? Now, I'm not married, never been married, so I guess I have no experience with husband per se.
Mhm.
However, I've been in relationships,
Mhm.
and for me, I feel like you shouldn't have to a person shouldn't just be in love with your physical only. Like I get that we have to be turned on by our eyes first. However, if you fell in love with me, for me, if I gain weight because I'm carrying your baby, or if I gain weight because of whatever, I don't think that should stop you from loving me, because then
Right.
you loved me conditionally, and that's not what we are here for. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not the type of love that I give, so that's not the type of love that I want to receive. Because conversely, if my boyfriend or husband was to gain weight, I'm not gonna leave him or stop loving him because he's fat. Like, and I heard Koron said something about him, you know, if your spouse is unhealthy, then it becomes an issue. Yes, I agree. Obviously, if you're unhealthy, we go to the doctor and the doctor's saying, hey, like, you have diabetes, you know, this, that, and the third. Yes, very well. We will go on a strict diet. We are losing weight because you're not about to die on me. So,
Right.
We don't want that.
Yeah, you have to lose weight. But as far as like gaining a little weight, I mean, people get older. Even with me, even though I'm still a very small girl, I know y'all can't really see what I look like, but in real life, I'm still really small. But I used to be 120. I'm 145 now. Granted, that's still small for my height. I put weight on, and I may put a little bit more weight on when I get older. So you mean to tell me that my dude is just gonna stop loving me because I get a little bigger? Like, I'm getting older.
Right.
Yeah.
Exercise, that's wrong. You can't do that. If that's the type of person, if you are that shallow, then you have to go, because it can't be that alone. It's something else that gotta hold you here, that has to anchor you to me.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Deep.
Well, there's like the reason why I brought this topic up is because I pay attention to a lot of like content creators who talk about, you know, relationship issues and topics and things of that nature. And one of the things that I see going around is they say that men want fit women, women have to lose weight to please their husband, and all these things. And I want to show like a balanced approach, or just to give a balanced response to this, because a lot of people on social media, they live in these I don't know how to put it, like these world where everything is perfect, everyone, you know, looks as good as their Instagram picture
Rosy
with, you know,
colored
filters.
glasses.
Huh?
Rosy colored glasses.
Yes, the
Right.
rosy colored glasses. So what we do on this show is like we try to bring a more balanced approach, objective approach, and attack things from a realistic perspective. We may not all agree all the time, but we definitely want to bring balance to the social media landscape. So that's the reason why I brought this topic up, because I want to show just a different side of, you know, different perspective.
Definitely. Definitely.
I
Thank
also
you so much for weighing in on that topic, Kimmy.
I was gonna say more, but I think we moved.
Nah, definitely continue.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna
Listen,
say
we
that.
talked for almost 2 hours, so you could go ahead.
I know, and I missed so much of it because I was putting together some stuff in my bathroom, being a little handy girl or whatever. So I
No
missed it.
problem.
I came to my phone and Ashley freaking inboxed me. I'm like, oh my God, I missed it, because I remember she posted you was gonna come on at 8:30, and I had it in my head that I was gonna be on here, and I completely forgot.
You
So,
good,
No problem.
mamas.
No
but
problem.
what I was gonna say was, which I know this is a very cliche thing that has been said over and over, that Instagram has our minds warped now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants a fit woman or the exercise, because supposedly everyone exercise now, which is really BS. Because even if they're exercising, it's not consistent, or you have a BBL and you're trying to exercise now, like, get out of here.
That's a fact, right?
That's so unreal. But Instagram makes it seem
Right.
so real, and we live our lives so much through social media that it's really warping our minds. So now when we look at regular women that look like me, that look like regular, no BBLs, maybe have a little gut, we're looking at them like, wow, like, you're not where it's at. And it's like, yo,
Right.
I'm normal. Like, this is normal. Like, what you're seeing on social media is abnormal. Like,
It
Right.
definitely is.
realize that. So they come into the dating scene, they come into relationships expecting to get somebody that's consistently working out. And I'm not against working out at all. We are supposed to, regardless, not just to lose weight.
Right.
We need to be
Right.
healthy and fit as we get older. But bro, I'm not lifting barbells, and I'm not doing that. And I'm sorry. So if that's what you're expecting my body to look like Tiana Taylor's after 2 babies, it's not happening.
Right. Right.
So
That's one of the scenarios we went through. We said that, you know, we understand that a woman's body changes after she has kids. And
You know what's
what if
funny
she
about
can't get
that
back
though?
to that weight? What's up, Dust?
That's her job. You feel me?
Yeah.
You feel me? That's her job. That's Tiana Taylor's job. So, she's gonna work at that. She's gonna
Right.
always stay at that level.
Mm.
And she got like, didn't she get like the most beautiful woman of the like or
I believe
something like
Something
that?
so.
like that. She did, yeah.
So but the average woman
Mhm.
doesn't have that type of time on their
No.
hands to work
That's
like
a
that.
fact.
But you know, a
No.
lot of men, like, and I don't want to say real men because I don't want to make anybody feel less than or whatever, but most normal, I guess, men really don't mind normal women. Like, they aren't all warped in. So I do want to give some grace in that area to say it's not everybody or every man.
Right.
Right.
Like that, but there are still some men out there who understand that we are regular people and that these social media filters are just that. Like,
Right.
make my skin look smooth. Like, my skin is not that smooth. Like, you need to understand that we have flaws.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's just too much going on social media that makes everybody's lives look perfect, and we're only posting the best part of our lives anyway. Even if we only go to the gym once a month, that's the only time we post when we go to the gym. So it looks like we're going to the gym only went
Yes.
one time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So people,
Yes.
they're like, oh my God, goals. Like, what do you mean? She went to the gym.
Right.
Right.
It's really insane. And it's just
Yeah, it's a minority. Like this social media stuff we see is really a minority of people that
It
is
is.
the regular people live the everyday lives. Like it's it's only on social media, the elite 1% on social media we see perpetuating these types of out, filters. Like you said, I can't remember what you said about the filter, you said
rosy-colored glasses.
yeah, the rose-colored glasses. It's really a few people that live like that. The majority of people in the real world, they're getting together. You have a woman who may be overweight. They might give it a guy who might not be overweight, and the opposite is true. So like people are doing what they have to do in this real world. I just want to bring that to more to social media. Get the average everyday person's feedback, and perspectives, because we need more balance, and we
Balance
need
for sure.
to change some of these narratives.
But also,
So
why is the question always, is it okay for a man to leave? Or what I'm sorry, I'm probably miswording what you said in the beginning, but something like, is it okay for a man to leave his woman if she gets too big? Why is it always geared more to the woman? How come the question never is it okay for a woman to leave her man? Why is the pressure always on us to remain? It's kind of like the Beauty and the Beast thing. Like, I feel like that's too much pressure, and it's unreal, seeing as how our bodies are the ones that's more likely to change because we're carrying these humans.
Yeah.
So why is it the pressure on us to stay so thin or stay so whatever when we're the ones that's mutating? Y'all don't do anything, right? In
that regard, that's a fact.
I respect it.
Yes. So while you can work out, or even if we started working out together, there's going to be some point in time for 9 months where I'm going to be relaxing and maybe not working out and get bigger while you're still going to be slim and trim and looking fine and hot. That's unfair.
Mm-hmm. It is. You sound
No,
like
you're right.
You know that we really the same,
Jesus.
That's why I brought this out, because I wanted to bring some balance to the table. Like, it shouldn't always just be that question poised to men about leaving if she gains weight, or complaining about a woman's weight. A woman might complain about a man's weight, right? I mean, or it doesn't always just have to be that way. So that's part of the balance.
Or what? Maybe what's up? Maybe this question is a little off, but maybe how about we ask the question: should you leave your man if he ends up with something like ED? Like,
that's a good question. That's a good question.
Like, I'm not even trying to make it hot or spicy or whatever,
but that's a fact.
That happens to y'all.
Like it.
Let's not forget, right? Like,
that does happen. Yes,
right. Like, we be all right. Some things happen to us, but y'all, that ED, bad.
Yeah.
Happened.
Wow, she hit below the belt with that one.
I don't think she did. I don't think she did, Hoff. I don't feel like she did, man, because
No, it's
you know
fair. No, it's a good point.
I
It's
feel
fair.
like because um listening to all the older men now, apparently there's a cure for that. You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
you know,
Oh, what
like,
the pills?
I mean, man, they hollering at everything.
That's a fact.
There are
I mean,
pills.
the old cats out here now are hollering at everything. So you know,
But the thing is, like I said, the question always is even with the cheating thing. It's like, well, he cheated because look how you let yourself go. Okay, well, I cheated
Oh
because you
man,
ended up
let's
with
not go
ED, so I
there.
got somebody younger.
he
Yeah, let's
Mm.
he
not go there.
cheated
That's
because he
I
cheated
feel like
because
that's valid. Yeah.
oh, we lost Dust. Boy, he'll
Oh,
chime back in. He probably dropped out, lost some internet connection. But yeah, the
Yeah.
whole cheating thing is absurd. There's never an excuse to cheat. Like there's really two reasons why a man would cheat. One, because he's trying to actually have a connection, or two, he's promiscuous. So some men they just want to have multiple women, and it's kind of hard to hold on, I think I got Dust Love back. Get him back on here.
like I
It's
dropped
hard,
my phone.
no, it's all good. It's hard to decipher at times, whether or not a man's promiscuous, but very rare, not I'm not gonna say rare occasions, but sometimes a man does want to connect, or it maybe emotionally or something like that. But as far as the excuses, it's never an excuse to cheat, especially if you're saying she put on weight. I mean, like we said earlier, we before you came on, Kim, we said that if there's an issue, the Dust said it. He said you should communicate. Like, hey,
Mhm.
we noticed some things changed. Is I would, if I had a problem, I would just ask a question: Is anything wrong? Is anything going? Is there anything that you would like to share with me that I can help? Help you with or whatever. It's a
Mhm.
ways to go about it. To say, "Oh, I'm a cheat because you gained 50 pounds," like that's ludicrous. That man more than likely was already trying to cheat.
right.
It's not
You're right,
a
right,
looks thing,
Right.
you know.
right. He that's his thing.
Yeah,
That's
he's
his
just a
thing.
cheater at heart, and that's an
That's his
excuse.
thing.
Right.
That's facts.
So, but that's just these excuses some of these men will make to justify their BS.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
Mhm.
yeah.
I wanted to also, I don't know, I don't, I'm not trying to take over your podcast. I'm so
No,
Nah.
it's cool. It's
I was
cool.
gonna say, I wanted to also address the Kevin Samuels thing before you hung up because I
Let's
know
do
I
it.
got
Let's
on
change the
late.
banner. Let's do it.
I got on late, so I just wanted to like speak on it a little bit, maybe even to like use this time to like get it off my chest also. Because
Awesome.
Okay.
like, so I know he passed, and to be honest, let me preface this by saying I have not watched a lot of his stuff, and I didn't just watch viral clips. I mean, I've seen those, but I did tune in once or twice to his like lives for a few moments, like
Mhm.
30 minutes, enough to kind
Okay.
of be like, okay, I don't really like it.
Right.
So do I feel like he didn't like black women? I feel like, and this is a conjecture, right? This is really a conjecture. It may not be facts because I don't know this man, right? But
That's fine.
I feel like from what I've heard and based on how he speaks, even though he says he's trying to help the black community, he somehow at some point in his life was scorned by a black woman or women.
Mm.
And I think that um in in a way it may be helpful because some people, they talk hard but they really mean well. Like I'm actually one of those people, so like I talk hard but I really mean
Mm,
well. But
Yeah.
I think that
mm,
that may be a thing with him. But I
mm.
also feel like because he had this negative experience with black women, he's more aggressive with the way he speaks to them.
Yeah.
And the reason why I feel like he was a little scorned was because, from what I've heard, was that his previous work before he became viral was more like, he was more like this nerdy little, I mean, he was more
Hitch.
uplifting then, but he was like just a little more nerdy. Maybe not
Mm.
not something that a lot of black women would have really went for. So
Yeah.
for me, my senses are going off that maybe he was a little scorned back then, college days or whatever. And so he's using that experience to be like, well, y'all don't deserve this and y'all don't deserve that, and y'all don't, you know what I mean? Because he's just a little scorned.
Right.
I feel like he may mean a little well, but his tone was too condescending for you to grab the positive from the things that he was saying most of the time.
Yeah.
And hold on, I also want to add that one of the reasons why I don't like Kevin Samuels, right? Because I know that Ashley likes Kevin Samuels, right? But one of the reasons why I didn't really like him was because he was really like caping up bitch ass niggas. Can I say that? Oh my God, can I say that?
Yeah, no, feel free.
Listen, feel free.
He was caping up those bitch ass niggas because even if he meant well, a lot of the men that agreed with his stuff was dumb 50-50 bum ass. I'm not taking you out on no date. I'm not paying for this. It was dumb niggas that was like, yeah, see, y'all don't deserve nothing. Like, he was really caping up dumb niggas. So is your message really good if the only type of encouragement that you're giving out is encouraging bum shit? Do you know what I'm saying? Even though he's saying he's not encouraging bum shit, it was the bums that was encouraged to even try to step to women who were educated to say that we don't deserve stuff. Like, boy, you even got shit.
Yes.
So,
yes.
It's like your message can mean well or your intention could mean well, but if it's landing wrong, then it don't work.
Wow.
You know?
I love it.
You answered like two of the questions I asked. I asked, was he scorned by a black woman? Is it that's why? Because they found him. He was last with the Asian Pacific woman, and
I thought she was black. She wasn't black.
No.
Well, according to the police reports, she was from the
Hawaiian
Pacific Islands or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah. So that's why I wondered, because some guys they have bad experiences with some women, and they say, well, all black women are crazy. I'm just gonna go and start dealing with white women or other women, because they have this view of women, and so they just abandon it. And sometimes they'll have these narratives where they'll go off and say, oh yeah, black women are this, black women are that. So that's why I asked that question, because I wanted to know, like, was it that? So you answered that question. But what I do want to know, do you think his attempts to like give whatever types of advice people could get out of it, do you think it came from a genuine place, like he really wanted to see black women elevate to that next level?
Truthfully, I feel like, because I did see him do it to black men too, so I want to give him that grace that I did see that part. He did do it to black men. I remember he told this man that his dick was little. Like, you need to get off of here because your dick little, and you're not gonna, I seen him do it. So I do think that it came from, I want to believe that it came from a genuine place, at least I should say. I want to believe that, and I feel like it did, and he just talked really hard because he had negative experiences. But the way that he spoke was actually doing more tearing down than building up. Like, sometimes we do have to watch our tone when we're trying to.
It was hurtful.
Otherwise you can hurt people instead of really helping them. So like I said, if it's not landing right, it's not gonna work. Like, you can try to okay, but if I'm not feeling good after the conversation with you, or if I feel worse after the conversation with you, then it's not helpful. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the stuff he said was wrong, because truthfully, some of the stuff he said, like, I was like, oh shit, I've said that before. Like, I definitely, feel like black people as a cohesive, we need to do better. And I think he was trying to get at that, but it was just it was splitting the community apart.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that too.
I didn't know who he was until I Googled him, though. No. I seen one show, and then I Googled him, and then I looked at the next show, and then I was like, damn.
You like
he was brutally honest with this woman. So, I can get it. It's hurtful. The way he speak, the way he was speaking to him, the way he was talking down on him, because he was talking down on him. It was hurtful.
And then, because here's the other thing, like, not only the things that he said, a lot of the time I feel like he was really just rude for no reason.
Yes.
Yeah, like, he would just
that's why I asked that, because
he would just like hang up, and I'm like, come on, you didn't have to do that. Like, the one girl, which I know was so hilarious, that was a viral one, when the girl came on and he was like, well, how old are you? And she was like, guess. And he just banged on shorty. I was like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah. He was full of himself in some regards. I even mentioned how he called this woman Ja Rule. Like, I
what?
can't get over that. He was like, "What would I be without you?" Like,
Are you
he actually
Wow.
like broke out in the song and banged on her. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
nuts.
I'm like, bro, like, this is just so messed up.
It is. And I think Kevin Samuels, I'm telling you, he used this podcast opportunity to, like, it was a get back. I feel like, yeah, y'all did this to me, so now I'm gonna give it to y'all.
I felt that
Wow.
way as well.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. So he just did more damage. And I'm not celebrating his death at all, because no one dead should be celebrated. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just
Right.
didn't have any feelings toward it because I was not a fan, nor was I like a hater necessarily.
Right. I was
Right.
indifferent as well.
Yes. Like I when I heard that he was dead, I was shocked like everyone else. I was like, oh, that's random.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
Really random. I didn't even know he had cancer either.
We actually was doing this show last week when we got the news live on air. We
That's
got the
crazy.
news, and
Oh,
it was
wow.
crazy. It was like, whoa, it was definitely surprising.
Nobody
Yeah.
believed it. We were like, nah, he about to come on live and say, hey, y'all lying.
Right. I was waiting for that.
Oh,
I was
Yeah.
waiting for that. And
Yup.
it didn't come,
yeah. Poor Kevin Samuels.
you know?
People like that, and maybe this is a different topic, but it makes me think of ancestors. Like, I wonder if people like that become ancestors. I don't know. That's a whole different.
Mm,
I don't know.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is he an
that is.
ancestor? Maybe he is, because it's brutal honesty, but I don't know. Was his spirit really? I don't know. How does that work? I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to get to, because like the Jerry Springer content, I'm not really for that. Like, I try to stay neutral. I don't want to disrespect people. I'd rather just have good conversations like this and have things go viral, because the stuff we talk about, I feel like it's so valuable. So
Mhm.
I don't see myself compromising, calling people Ja Rule, and
Right.
trying to disrespect people just to get people to click on my stuff. I think that's compromising to my integrity, at least. And based on
Mhm.
what you said that he was kind of like a nerd, quote unquote. And then
Mhm.
now you switch on to this, kind of, I don't know, bad guy kind of
Mhm. Mhm.
role, where
Arrogant,
now
egotistical.
arrogant role, and because once you see the views come in, you get that video goes viral, you want to
Yeah.
replicate and repeat. So,
Yeah.
and he was an image consultant. That means that he's very deliberate. He knows what he's doing to sustain his brand and things of that nature. So
Mhm.
that's why I was like, is it real? Is it, I don't think I ever listened to any one of his lives.
Mhm.
All I've seen was clips. Like, people would, talk about his videos, commentaries, and
Mhm.
things of that nature. So, from the little
Well,
I've heard, I couldn't tell if he was genuine. That's why I'm asking the question. I couldn't tell if whether or not he actually disliked black women and things of that nature. So that's why I wanted
I
to
don't
get
know
some
if I
people
would say he disliked. Also, but I do want to say that you said he was an image consultant, and he also said he was an image consultant. But what image is he using to consult black people with? That's my thing. Because if you're saying that
Mm.
if you're uplifting the black community, but you are rating us, no 7, you can't say 7. What do you rate yourself as? You're rating us
Yes.
on what scale, on what image? Because that cannot be uplifting to black people if you are grading us on the same scale as Europeans.
Thank you.
You can't do that,
Thank you.
good point.
because our beauty
Yes.
is not their standard.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that's
It's a
another
good
reason why I
point.
feel like he wasn't uplifting. So it's just
Yeah, that was one of the things I talked about. I didn't get a chance to talk about all the things I disagree with, because people started chiming in. But one of the things I talked about was I disagree with his subjective scale of 1 to 10. Like, men don't even normally talk like that. Like, you might hear
right.
some guys say, "Oh, she's a 10," but
Mhm.
outside of that, you don't hear 8s, you don't hear 7s. You like, guys don't really talk like that when
Mhm. Mhm.
we're classifying women or looking at women. Like, that's just.
Like,
And then
she's
also, like I
bad.
said
She's
earlier,
bad.
you could get a whole bunch of guys in a room. You could put Rihanna's picture up, Beyonce's picture up. You're gonna get 7, 6, 9, 10. Like, no, there's no universal standard. So when he's telling these women, "Oh yeah, you're a 6 at best, 8 at best," it's like, you don't speak for all men.
Thank
So like
you.
how are you, so I saw that. I saw like little clips where they would show like he would always try to like rate these women on those levels. So
The rating scale
but
was
yeah.
all bad because it was super
Yeah.
subjective and there was no like what do you call it? Like, what are the list of things that you're going by? Like, you know what I mean? Because I heard him rate Nicki
Right.
Minaj a 9 because he said her face was symmetrical and she might get an extra point for having slanted eyes. What?
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Exactly.
Whose image are you
Exactly.
using? Slanted eyes.
Yeah, exactly. So
What?
that's the problem. I think I've seen some about Saweetie. I think she's an artist. She was with one of the Migos guys.
Mhm.
He was saying how she was a 6, but with makeup on, or sometimes she could be an 8. I'm like, how you like? Come on, dude. Like, that's
Yeah,
that. I
that's
always
his
found that to
opinion.
be. Yeah, I always found that to be bold, like too bold, and you don't speak for all men.
And it does a lot of harm for women, especially when we're already critiquing ourselves and our beauty based on the constant pressures of, like Western media and expectations. So you end up like cross comparing your face and scanning your face with other women that are on the show. And he's there calling them 5s. And you're like, well, damn, like when I roll out the bed, like
Right.
I look like her. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of weird. I think it did more harm
Yes.
to women than actual like upliftment, enrichment, all of those good things.
It was
Yeah.
hurtful. And then people would say, well, like one of my close friends, she loved, like literally cried when this man died. No lie. She
Wow.
loves him bad. Good night, Alana. I'm sorry, my daughter's. Good night, Alana.
No problem. No problem.
It's 10:36. What do you mean good night? Why weren't you in bed? Okay, I'm sorry. So she cried when he died, and she was like, well, Kim, he's not talking to women like you and me. He's only talking to those crazy women that even has the balls enough to call in, knowing that he's gonna drag them. But it's like you have a live show, a podcast that you want people to call in on. So how are you gonna say why would they call in when he has a show for us to call in? I don't
Right.
understand.
Mm-hmm.
If they weren't calling in, do you realize he wouldn't have a show for you to even be
Right.
like?
Exactly.
So people are supposed to call in. And if you're supposed to be an image consultant and uplifting the Black community, you have to do better than that, than dragging these women. Although some of them was delusional, and I get where he was coming from with it, he could have found a much more uplifting way to tell these women, like, hey, relax. This is what you need to, you know what I mean? Like, this is what you need to do. But not telling them that they look like Ja Rule. That's it's not gonna work.
Yeah, that's what I felt like there was a better way. I understand because it's all about the views too. And people will compromise themselves for the views, their integrity, because it brings views, and they hope views bring money. So I get that part. It's just that for me personally, especially if you're trying to give advice to people or suggestions or whatever, I just think that he could have had a better way to deliver the message. I just think that tearing people down just for the clicks and the views, I just don't think that that was the most productive way of getting the message across. From if he really cared, what I'm saying, if he really cared about adding value to people's lives, right? I think that it would be a better way to consult and give suggestions to. That's my only problem. The Jerry, like I said, I call it the Jerry Springer style, where, and even Jerry wasn't really mean with his people, but he had like a lot of interesting personalities on the stage where they would say all types of crazy stuff, and he would use that for entertainment purposes. But Jerry always, when he would give his advice, he was always mild mannered. He rarely disrespect. He would put people in their place if they got out of line, but he didn't really carry himself like that. So I just think that Kevin needed to change that up a bit, But
and then
R.I.P.
How uplifting could he be when I mean, no, you said that you didn't you didn't know if he was genuine or if he was really trying to add value. And then the thing is, another point that makes me believe he couldn't have been adding values, because like I said, he was nerdy before, and from what I've heard was his past content was actually uplifting and it was actually good. But of course, that doesn't really get a lot of clicks.
That doesn't get
Right.
the views.
So when he realized that calling women Ja Rule was gonna get clicks, he started banking on that. And that to me is super corny. It lacks integrity and it's wrong. And you cannot be adding value. Now you're just looking out for your pockets. Like, do you really care about the Black community, or are you just watching for your pockets? Because if you being good and hold on one second, if you really uplifting Black women in the beginning was, you know, that was good, but it wasn't getting you a lot of money, I guess. But now you realize dragging Black women gets you a lot of money, so you do it. Then you really, there's something wrong with you. You're not adding value to us.
For sure.
So then that means to me that I can't really take him that seriously.
Right.
No.
Right. It's just the WWE, you know, Jerry Springer sort of style content, and you just have to place, you know, that type of content in its proper place. It was just for shock value more than more than educating or really giving out fruitful information. You know, I just think that he could have went about it a different way, and I guess I'll never know. So I'll just leave it like, well, you know, there's arguments for him actually caring, and there's arguments against. So we'll just leave it like that. I mean, do you have anything else you would like to add to this topic?
No, I think I got it off my chest. I was trying to think of think of another question I had, but I can't remember it. So I'm gonna let it go.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. You did a great job of articulating your points. You've actually answered all of my questions before I even got the chance to ask you, and so that was pretty good. I wanted to know if his views was misogynistic. Did it perpetuate stereotypes? You touched on that. You touched on him being scorned, you know, possibly being scorned by, you know, Black woman, and that's why he, you know, goes on his tirades and things of that nature. So, I mean, I think we hit it on the nail. You know, great show.
This was a great topic for sure.
It was. I'm so sorry that I missed it, but the next time you have a topic, I would like to join in because I like to be vocal, and I think that sometimes speaking more than typing it on a Facebook status is better for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
I just wanted to get stuff off sometimes, you know, just like get it off. And let me go. Right.
We'll be back next week.
We're here every Thursday. You know, I'm doing this every Thursday, trying to grow the following. You know, we get a couple of people in, you know, to check us out, but we need more people on the panel as well. So we're growing, and we will be back next Thursday. I don't have the topic as of yet, but it will be another polarizing topic that will be interesting. So, you know, be on the lookout for that link, and you know, you could subscribe to the channel. I just got your friend request. That also.
I approved it.
Oh, you approved it? Okay, yeah. She's my social media manager, so
I see.
she controls like my page, but yeah, we'll definitely be back next Thursday. So, and I'll have some topics, and we'll go in.
This was dope.
Is it always Thursday at 8:30?
Well, yeah, that's the working time we have right now. Yeah, I mean,
that works for me. That's perfect.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, so yeah, that's the working.
I'm just saying, I can just get on.
Yeah, that's the best time for me too right now, because I have a crazy schedule. So I always find, you know, Thursdays around this time is always a great time for me to do whatever. So yeah, this will be the time going forward. So
I'm sorry, I accidentally clicked this. Around this time is always a great time. Sorry.
Sounds good. Awesome show, man. Awesome show. I look forward to next week.
I really, really enjoyed this. This is my type of time. I love this.
Love it.
No sweat. No sweat. Mature topics is where it's at. So if you guys have nothing else to say, I'd like to close out.
For sure.
And you know,
see
thank you guys
next week.
Bye guys.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
All right. So they're out of here. So this has been a great show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, we're growing the brand, and we're getting more people in here in the building. We lost Dust Love. I'm not sure what happened to him, but salute to the people that's still on here watching on Facebook and YouTube. We do appreciate it. Definitely feel free to subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already. And until next time, stay blessed.